Tonight, venting frustrations.
Remember that, Stelco workers, when your owner comes prancing through your place. He doesn't support you.
The Premier lets loose on an American steel mogul over tariff supports. Plus, a major police presence.
We're a really small town, and just to have that go on is very thrown off to me.
OPP in West Lorne carrying out a death investigation. And a dirt bike dynamo. The teenage rider about to compete for Canada.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest measures from the provincial government to support workers affected by American tariffs, including the province's steel industry. As Abigail Beeman reports, there's mounting frustration which came to the forefront in Hamilton today.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford slammed Lourenço Gonçalves, the head of the American company that owns Ontario-based Stelco Steel, for his support of Donald Trump's tariffs.
And why doesn't he just stay in the U.S.? Because I'm done with this guy signing letters saying, yeah, bring all the steel down to the U.S., tariff the crap out of Canadians. This is the owner. So remember that, Stelco workers, when your owner comes prancing through your place. He doesn't support you. And I look forward to getting a phone call from him because he has my cell number.
Thank you.
I'm going to blast him.
Ford then apologized for getting heated. At one point, he even mused the province should buy Stelco. Stelco was purchased by American company Cleveland Cliffs last year for $3.4 billion. Its CEO has praised Donald Trump's tariffs as recently as Monday, blaming Canada and Mexico for supporting tariff circumvention schemes. Neither Stelco nor Cleveland Cliffs responded to CTV questions about Ford's comments. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Air Canada is working through a backlog of departures as more details emerge from the tentative agreement reached with striking flight attendants. As Adrian Gabriel reports, the agreement lays out a plan to bump salaries and put an end to unpaid work.
With Air Canada slowly getting its fleet off the ground, industry watchers say parts of the proposed deal will leave some flight attendants deflated.
They won't be able to afford the cost of living and living wage in Toronto and Vancouver.
Air Canada and CUPE have yet to confirm the wage increase being offered, but multiple aviation insiders, including McGill University's John Graddick, say they've seen the numbers.
12% increase immediately for the junior flight attendants, 8% for the more senior flight attendants, and then progressively through the contract, 3.5%, 3%, and then 2.5%.
Though the pay grade for cabin crew with less than 5 years of service will still fall short of what some U.S. carriers offer their staff who work out of major hubs.
If you happen to live in LA, if you happen to live in New York, if you happen to live in Chicago, we're giving you an extra $2,000 a month. And that should get you up to a living wage in those cities where you have a high cost of living.
Air Canada flight attendants haven't been receiving an hourly wage while checking in passengers. CTV News has confirmed that the airline is now offering 50% of their hourly rate as ground pay for the first hour of pre-flight work on a narrow-body aircraft and 70 minutes for larger planes. The ground pay rate will increase to 70% by the time the deal expires in 4 years.
The flight attendants at Air Canada felt that this was a negotiating element of their contract that they could get a lot of Canadians to support.
Air Canada's offer of ground pay follows a similar move already made by Delta Airlines in the U.S. It could trigger similar demands by flight attendants at other Canadian carriers. WestJet's contract with its cabin crew expires at the end of the year.
A source tells CTV News that CUPE began presenting Air Canada's offer to their members this morning. Voting is expected to be completed by the end of next week. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Good evening. Overcast conditions across most of the region. A few peaks of sunshine in the last hour. Temperatures a bit below where we typically are this time of year. Right now in London, 21 degrees. As we head to Midwestern Ontario, 19 to 20. Our low pressure system moved out, but left us with some cloud cover, some wraparound moisture, and some drizzly conditions through the day. As we head into the evening, we are starting to see the cloud cover thin just a bit, but we have a northeast flow off the lake, and that will generate more cloud across the area as we head into tomorrow. tomorrow. So we're going to hold on to a lot of that cloud cover overnight. The winds start to ease off, and waking up tomorrow morning to mainly cloudy conditions, but clearing skies on the way and high pressure building in as we head into Friday. I'll take you through the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Julie. OPP investigators are holding the scene of a death investigation in West Lorne. Few details about the circumstances have been made public, but neighbors tell CTV News officers arrived in force late Tuesday afternoon. With more, here's Sean Irvine.
OPP crime scene tape surrounds a home on Mary Street in West Lorne. The Century structure sits on a wide lot filled with trees, long grass, and overgrown bushes. Neighbors say police, fire, and ambulance arrived here shortly after 5 p.m. Not long afterwards, officers put up the yellow tape.
It seemed very serene, and there was cop cars could block off right by John and where Mary kind of connect. And then there was about another 10 just up and down between John and Baynard.
A short time later, the children of a neighbor witnessed a deceased person being removed from the property.
They seen them bring a body out on the stretcher, and they brought it from the side of the house and put it in a SUV.
As the evening advanced, detectives went door to door asking neighbors questions. Those same neighbors tell us investigators spent quite a lot of time both inside and outside of the home looking for clues. CTV News has learned a man believed to be in his 50s lived in the home with at least 2 large dogs. It's unclear whether he is the deceased person. Neighbors report he was often seen outside and could be heard yelling frequently. One told us a disturbance complaint had been made the night before police arrived. Later that same evening, a resident noted a running pickup truck in the home's driveway. Unconcerned, they went back to sleep, but were awoken later by dogs who barked for hours. The next morning, quiet returned to Mary Street until police arrived.
We're a really small town, and just to have that go on is very thrown off about to me right now. It kind of shakes the neighborhood.
It's a nice place, and I love it. I love being here. But weird things happen around here. West Lorne's a place where stuff happens that wouldn't happen in your usual 1,200-person town. I can tell you that, yeah.
In West Lorne, Sean Irvine, CTV News.
Concerns tonight over transit safety in London. One rider is sharing his experiences witnessing open drug use and illegal activity on city buses. With more, here's Bryan Bicknell.
Bus rider Todd Rocheleau says a frightening experience that began at this East London bus shelter last Saturday was the last straw.
There was a couple of men in the gas station parking lot throwing things around, yelling obscenities. Driver let them onto the bus in this state, so well aware, had a glass pipe in their hand as they entered the bus. These guys couldn't even hardly walk straight. They were so under the influence, walking up and down the aisles, just creating a very dangerous environment for everybody.
Rocheleau has launched an online petition calling for increased safety measures on LTC buses. He wants calls to police for London Transit prioritized, security guards on downtown buses, and panic alarms on buses.
When you're standing at the bus stops, people are openly using drugs. London police are driving by, not doing anything about it. On the buses you're getting on, drivers are allowing people to get on in a very highly intoxicated state. There's been times where I've even been yelled and screamed at by people in this state.
A quick check of bus shelters along one block of Dundas revealed a drug pipe and discarded needles at multiple stops, including in front of a high school. Another stop had personal belongings, indicating someone may have slept in the shelter. But if there is a problem with unsavory, unsafe, or illicit activity at bus shelters or on buses themselves, the LTC says it hasn't gotten any worse.
We don't generally, think that there's been a large increase or a spike sort of thing in those kind of reports in general. We don't see a lot of reporting of actual illegal substance use on the buses. It happens rarely, but those would be investigated and handled on the road.
London Police Acting Staff Staff Sergeant Ozzie Nethersole says no time is wasted in dealing with situations on buses.
We have enough foot patrol officers right now, and we are dealing with it. So we pull some officers from the road. We are staffed properly on foot patrol, and we deal with the bus operators on a daily basis to provide the service that we need to make everyone feel safe.
But one worried passenger says he won't feel safe until he sees changes.
It's to the point now that it is just dangerous to ride public transportation.
Bryan, Bicknell, CTV News.
A major milestone in Chatham, Kent today with the opening of 50 tiny homes providing transitional housing for people who might otherwise be unsheltered. With more from opening day, here's Chris Campbell.
50 tiny transitional cabins are ready to house some of the community's most vulnerable. Councillor Anthony Sakachi says it's about giving people stability.
There's a lot of wraparound services that are going to be on place and on site, coaching, as well as different types of social services here. So it's not just a roof over your head, but it's also some support systems that are in place to assist through that standpoint.
But not everyone from the encampments will relocate here.
We have around 40 individuals right now that are currently housed at the transitional temporary shelters here. I think that we have a room for 10 more.
We have nearly 250 homeless individuals in Chatham, Kent. So this is part of the evolution of how we as a community are working with homeless to make it better.
Mayor Darren Caniff says the cabins are one piece of a bigger plan.
If those are fully utilized, there's a waiting list. The opportunity to add more, we have land there.
Advocates say while the cabins won't solve homelessness, they'll make a difference creating pathways to long-term housing.
They certainly provide another alternative, and let's be honest, we have to do something different. We know what we've been doing is not working. Congregate living is not favored. It's not successful. And so this is just another option.
And the concept is already sparking interest elsewhere. Windsor City Councillor Ronaldo Agostino says he plans to explore tiny cabins as an option in Windsor.
Certainly anything that we can do to create more supports for people that need them, I'm all for it. I'm excited to see.
For those moving in like Patrick, who wish to remain off camera, it's a first step towards stability.
We got curtains up and outlets, got a microwave and a fridge, bed to sleep on, roof over your head. So it's definitely better than sleeping under the bridge.
In Chatham, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
The London Fire Department is launching a new campaign trying to get more working smoke alarms in homes. With more on the program, making sure local residents are prepared for the worst. Here's Lauren Stallone.
That's the sound of a smoke alarm. Frightening, but critical.
They provide that crucial early warning that gives residents precious time to escape when every second counts.
London firefighters are coming together to launch the Sound the Alarm, Stay Safe London program to boost smoke alarm compliance.
This program is designed to protect our community by educating Londoners of the importance of working smoke alarms.
The London Fire Department says in 2024 they found 21% of residential fires occurred in homes that didn't have a working smoke alarm. Now they say this statistic could mean the difference between life or death.
Homeowners can face charges if smoke alarms are not provided, installed, and maintained. But let's be clear, this program is not about enforcement, it's about education, awareness, and support.
London firefighters will begin going door to door, working directly with homeowners to inspect smoke alarms and ensure compliance with Ontario's fire safety laws.
This program will reduce fire-related injuries and will save lives.
Residents are encouraged to check their fire alarms monthly. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
A local fire ban has been lifted. City officials say backyard fires can resume thanks to recent rain and cooler temperatures. They implemented the ban back on August 11th because of the extreme heat and dry conditions. Other municipalities like Brockton, West Grey, and Huron-Kinloss also lifted fire bans today. St. Thomas schools will have a community services officer this fall. St. Thomas Police made that announcement today, putting in place a liaison for all elementary and high schools in the city. Constable Michael Kaiser has been with St. Thomas Police for nearly 20 years and will be responsible for violence prevention initiatives as well as building trust between students and police. A local motocross racer is getting ready to represent Canada on the international stage. As Scott Miller reports, the teenager is qualified to compete in what's known as the Olympics of motocross.
Caleb Van Koenet pulls on his Yamaha jersey for practice at Moto 86 near Wingham. But in a little over a month from now, that will be a Canadian jersey on his back.
I'm just so excited. It's a great opportunity. I'm not really going there to win, but I'm just going to go, have some fun, and it's just a great experience, so I'm super excited.
At the ripe old age of 14, Van Koenet will ride for Team Canada at the upcoming Motocross of Nations, taking place this fall in Indiana. He's one of 9 amateurs and 3 pros selected to pull on the Canadian colors at the world-class event known as the Olympics of Motocross.
I'm just so grateful to be able to, do this. I'm really fortunate to have the financial stability and, my team, MX101, Yamaha, and they're super good supporters, and I've been putting in so much work. So, yeah, I'm so happy to be able to do this.
The young Huron County native has been riding motocross since the age of 4. In the 6th grade, he signed a lucrative sponsorship deal with Kawasaki, becoming one of the youngest riders to do so in Canada. He has since moved over to Yamaha, but motocross is not just a pastime or hobby for Van Koenet. It's his job as he pushes towards turning pro, which can't happen until he turns 16.
I've been putting tons of work in. I was down in Texas for a month and a half by myself, just training and putting as much work as I can. And then, we're going to go back probably after Indiana. We'll go back down and keep grinding again.
Last year, 36 nations were represented at the Motocross of Nations, which has been running since 1947. Canada ended up 15th last year. Van Koenet hopes to change that, but mostly plans to soak in his first, but probably not last time, representing Canada on the track.
It'll be a great experience, get to see some new people, and just represent Yamaha.
Near Wingham, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When we come back, it's the Tee Up with Brent Lail, who will introduce us to a pair of local brothers on the verge of making their NHL dreams come true.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Rock the Runway is landing at the London International Airport September 12th and 13th. Enter at CTVLondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of VIP tickets to see Marshmello, Baby No Money, and more on Saturday, September 13th.
Welcome back. It's time for the Tee Up with Brent Lail. And Brent, after 42 regular season games, it's time for postseason baseball here in London.
Yeah, the Forks of the Thames is going to be rocking on Friday night as the majors begin their quest for an IBL title. London will take on Guelph in round 1. The majors are the 3 seed in the best-of-5 series, and after the 24-18 record, the majors face Guelph on Friday night, then they head to Guelph on Saturday, then it's back home for a 4:05 start Sunday afternoon. London won the season series, but it was tight, 3-2.
And as baseball season winds down, football season just gearing up. The Western Mustangs play their first game this weekend.
Yeah, with Labor Day the 1st of September this year, it's an early start for the Mustangs. They travel to Kingston to face Queens Saturday, and that's before the students even return to school.
They do get pretty good community support, but not having all those crazy students yelling at us, we're not going to miss it.
The Stags have come through training camp relatively healthy. The weather was tough last week to practice through, though, but they can now focus on studying film on the Gales. With some personnel changes going into this season, it's been important to get certain position groups ready.
Defense is starting to kind of, come together. Offensive line has come together. So we're excited. I mean, training camp seems long, especially when you've had it as long as I have. But it's getting ready to play that first game. And we're kind of itching to get down to Kingston and get going.
And Brent, some exciting news for a London basketball star.
Yeah, Marko Maletic, who played for Saunders and then Fanshawe before going to the Division I in the U.S., is about to take his talents overseas. Coming off a great season at Western Illinois University, he no longer has NCAA eligibility, so he's looking at options overseas. The lethal three-point shooter is getting a number of offers from the G League and Spain, but it looks like a team in Greece is his most likely destination. He's been in the gym working hard.
It's a dream come true. I've obviously, since I was a kid, honestly, when I was a kid, I never thought this would happen. But, now that I'm here and I put all the work in, especially with Dave, and I think my game and my career kind of suits the Europe lifestyle better. I think my parents are super excited to see me go back, and obviously I get to visit my family as well, and then also I get to play, in beautiful cities and, just enjoy over there.
And hey, Carlyle, big shout out to a couple of winners this week. This is the London Lightning U19 team who won the Eastern Canadians to defend their title. Then on the sand, London's Kenzie Lang won the national 14U beach volleyball title along with her doubles partner Darcy Wilson. Lang, out of the Forest City Volleyball Club, also won provincial gold indoors this past year.
And finally, Brent, hockey season quickly approaching, and a pair of London brothers are training hard with NHL ambitions.
Yeah, Ryan Robrook is expected to be a top 10 pick in the upcoming NHL draft, while his brother Dylan is on the verge of the NHL after a strong professional first season in the American League. It's early morning, and top NHL prospect Ryan Robrook is grinding.
More speed and cardio, just kind of getting ready for this year, obviously, and want to be just in your best shape or whatever, and then obviously you got the NHL Combine coming up, so just trying to prepare, get to your full strength at the max cardio.
Robrook fires, scores!
The Londoner is coming off a 41-goal season in Niagara and is a projected top 10 pick in next year's NHL draft. His older brother Dylan is on the verge of the NHL after a 20-goal season in the American League.
I just get bigger, stronger, faster, and speed, my acceleration, my conditioning, just trying to get better there because you can always improve on those things. The game's all about speed now, so you got to be able to play fast to play up there.
After more than an hour at the gym, it's off to Western Fair Sports Center for on-ice work.
They got all the skill on the ice. They just got to work on their first 3 steps, get super explosive off the line. We want to make them strong as possible. A lot of rotational strength, a lot of plyometrics we do with these guys in here to get them going.
Ryan is putting in the work, knowing he'll have scouts watching him closely in his draft year.
Something that's always on your mind is growing up as a kid, you want to make the next level as you keep going into the NHL. And I think just kind of this year, just kind of do what I can, just play my best every single night, give it my all, and hope for the best on that draft day.
Their off-season has become a friendly competition.
Pushing each other, we've been doing that since we're little guys down in our basement, so it's always a battle when we're in here, who can do better, who can push more weight, who's stronger, so it's good to have each other here to push each other.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
A gap in London's zoning bylaw is standing in the way of a local business helping vulnerable women develop job skills. With more on the red tape issues obstructing the car detailing business's relocation, here's Daryl Newcombe.
CoverGirl's Auto Detailing has been cleaning cars and helping rebuild lives for almost 4 years. To honor her late brother, Layla Kay's business hires women recovering from trauma and abuse, offering them a safe place to rebuild confidence, independence, and job skills.
Women who have gone through traumas in their life with physical, psychological, drug abuse, sexual. Any woman who has fear to get back into real life.
A dispute with her previous landlord left the business searching for a new home. But after choosing this building at 326 Springbank Drive, CoverGirls hit a roadblock at City Hall. The property isn't zoned for car detailing.
Location's perfect, size is beautiful. Everything is just amazing, exactly what I'm looking for. The zoning has been an issue for us, and it kind of makes me sad, and the girls who are working for me right now are sad.
It turns out the current zoning on this property permits a wide variety of commercial activities, including things like gas stations and automotive repair shops. But it specifically does not include auto detailing.
We don't want to try and make it super nuanced and hard for people to conduct their business.
At the most recent meeting of the Planning Committee, councillors raised issue with the impact London's antiquated and overly prescriptive zoning has had on small businesses like CoverGirls. The committee unanimously recommended staff include the AC2 commercial zoning classification in an internal review that's underway to simplify and modernize zoning. That process is called Rethink Zoning.
The Rethink Zoning process is an appropriate way to try and address it. So my understanding is staff will take this information and give a look at that zone.
Once we get the zoning, a month or so up and running again. My previous location, I can only fit one car at a time. Here I could probably fit in 5 cars, and I can be able to provide more job opportunities for more individuals.
In a statement to CTV News, the Deputy City Manager of Housing and Community Growth says if Council approves a motion next week granting him administrative authority over these types of decisions, he'll be rolling out a process as soon as possible for the benefit of this business. Daryl, Newcombe, CTV News.
On the desk now with Julie Atchison, and just outside I can see through the windows the cracks of sunshine after about a day and a half now of overcast skies, starting to see some sun peek through.
I mean, we've had quite the summer, haven't we? So much sunshine.
We got so used to it, right?
Yeah, dry conditions, and we've been dealing with the cloud cover today. But this is a beautiful live look at Rotary Cove Beach in Goderich, and definitely a nice quiet night on the beach for folks in terms of temperatures across the area. A bit cooler today, 22 degrees. Our high, normally we're at 25 and a low of 18, comparing that with what's normal. Our low temperature coming in above. As we take a look at the London airport right now, 21, and the winds out of the east-northeast, and winds will be easing off over the next few hours. Satellite radar. So conditions across our region. What's happening out there? We do have this area of low pressure that has moved out, but we're dealing with the wraparound cloud cover across the Great Lakes. Now we will see this northeasterly flow continue, and that will generate some off-lake cloud off Lake Huron, so expecting that moisture to continue. Let's take a quick look at Hurricane Erin, and it's bringing some strong wind gusts and rainfall. Now, just to give you an idea, about 150 kilometers out is where we're seeing hurricane force winds, and about 450 kilometers is where we see tropical storm. This is a huge system, and it will continue to impact coastal areas in the coming days. But good news is it stays well offshore. It'll impact parts of the Maritimes with some high surf, rip currents, and some gusty winds, but not expecting a whole lot in the way of rainfall. Across the country, a couple spots dealing with some heat. Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, 34 degrees this afternoon. That was the hot spot in the country, and you can see this warm air, so low pressure area in Montana spinning up some warmth towards the southern prairies. We've also had some active weather, including severe thunderstorms in the prairie provinces. Next 36 hours, this cloud cover will start to break up, and yes, we'll be back into clearing conditions and some sunshine as we head into your Friday. So Thursday we'll start with a bit of cloud cover, but by Thursday afternoon, some beautiful breaks, and temperatures are headed up in advance of a cool down coming our way next week. So lots going on with this forecast. We will see the temperature climbing in the coming days, and yes, we will see some nice conditions as we head into the weekend. Overnight low temperatures 14 to 15 degrees, and it will be 16 near the lake. Your forecast for your Thursday, starting the day with cloud cover, breaking into some nice sunny peaks as we head towards noon hour, and then becoming a mix of sun and cloud as we head into the afternoon with the forecast high of 26. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast features sunshine on Friday. Saturday, we'll see a cold front come in. This area of low pressure will be moving and stalling out over James Bay, and that will be a bit problematic for the extended forecast because it will bring some waves of cooler air. And we're going to be talking almost fall-like in the area. So Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud. The frontal boundary brings the cooler air to the area Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Daytime highs drop down 19 to 22 degrees. So if you're a person sitting at home thinking, I don't like the summer, I don't like the heat, next week's forecast is for you. It'll feel fall-like across the area. Temperature in Midwestern Ontario tomorrow, 26, expecting more of a mix of sun and cloud. So the bulk of the cloud cover will be along the northern shoreline of Lake Erie. Areas north of that will see a nice mix of sun and cloud to mainly sunny and gray Bruce. Sun-filled Friday, Saturday, Sunday, chance for showers. Now, as the cool air comes in into Midwestern Ontario, we're going to be talking about lake effect showers. So the warm water this time of year, some cool air in the upper atmosphere that will bring off lake cloud cover and unsettled conditions early next week. And temperatures are set to drop between 19 and 20. So some heat returns tomorrow, as well as some sunshine, and looking good Carlyle on Friday ahead of the weekend.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still back to school stress, the financial concerns for parents trying to make sure their kids have what they need when they go back to class.
More tickets to one of the biggest shows in the year, Brad Paisley at Canada Life Place on the show tomorrow morning.
Yes, he's going to be joined by Jackson Dean, Megan Patrick, and hopefully you'll be listening closer to 8:35.
Union leaders representing Canadian postal workers say they've presented new offers to Canada Post seeking higher wages than the latest proposal they received. Talks were supposed to resume last week, but were delayed because of federal government mediators who were tied up with the Air Canada flight attendant dispute. Post office negotiations have now dragged on for more than a year and a half. The last offer from the Crown Corporation included a raise of about 13% over 4 years, while adding part-time workers for weekend deliveries. A new report on back-to-school shopping shows more than 80% of Canadian parents are stressed about their expenses. With more on the findings, here's Emma Convey.
Pencil case, excellent look, glue.
For over a decade, the team at Parker Street Food and Furniture Bank has filled backpacks with school supplies for children in need. And year over year, their list of applicants continues to grow.
We're seeing their notices of assessment, and we're just wondering how they can possibly afford to do that on the income that they have.
They supply children preschool aged to adults in adult learning with a full backpack.
Markers, pencil crayons, rulers, geo sets, those kinds of things. And then you're going to see more like loose leaf graph paper, spiral bound notebooks.
It's not just the families that use this service, but according to MyDo, an online money management tool for teens, 81% of Canadian parents report feeling stressed when it comes to back-to-school shopping.
Cost of everything is more expensive. I think also, too, depending on what age your child is at, it's going to be more expensive the older that they get.
This is probably the easier, cheaper year, first year. It probably gets worse.
The study also found that 60% of parents say their kids understand these financial realities.
We have a budget when we go school shopping. I remember last year I really wanted a binder, so I bought part of it with my own money.
40% of parents say they overspend during back-to-school shopping to avoid disappointing their children.
I want a zip-up binder and a lot of pencils.
Experts explain Canadians are struggling to meet all their financial obligations, leaning on credit cards and a line of credit to make things work.
So parents that aren't even using our services are talking about the impossibility to just get the supplies that they want. They're having to try to do more thrift shopping. They're having to do more like Dollarama shopping.
School supplies, groceries, everything is just too much.
Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
A record number of Canadian kids are turning to support programs to get through school days without getting hungry. Breakfast Club of Canada is the country's largest school food provider. According to the organization, at least 1 in 3 children are arriving at school hungry almost every day. Officials also say about 2.5 million kids live in a food insecure household, representing a third of Canadian children. Strength in basic material stocks lifted Canada's main stock index today. The TSX gained 55 points. In New York, the Dow added 16. The Nasdaq dropped 142. Canadian dollar down a modest 0.07 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained almost $30 an ounce. Oil is up 94 cents a barrel.
They're going to handle the backbreaking labor that humans should really not be doing.
Later on CTV News, the Southwestern Ontario researchers and their humanoid workers designed for dangerous jobs. Welcome back. Hundreds of National Guard troops arrived in Washington, D.C. today on the orders of President Donald Trump. He claims they're necessary to control raging crime in the American capital. But as Judy Trin reports, there are plenty of people coming forward challenging that narrative.
An angry welcome for 3 of Donald Trump's top officials as they walked into Union Station to greet the National Guard. The concerns of protesters were dismissed.
We do not have to allow our cities to be taken over by violence and disorder and by chaos. The voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots. They have no connections to the city.
But the organizers of this protest are from the city.
We're under a military occupation of our city. This is fascism, this is racism, it's directly targeting Black and brown and working class communities in D.C.
Last week, Trump, citing a crime emergency in Washington, D.C., took over the local police force and called in the National Guard. Since then, the White House says nearly 500 people have been arrested and more than 20 homeless encampments have been dismantled. Hundreds of National Guard members have been stationed near subway stations and national monuments.
Sometimes our mere presence has a deterrent effect on criminal activity, and that's really what we're trying to provide.
The Guards have also been patrolling the poor, predominantly Black and immigrant neighborhoods of D.C. Washington's mayor says that crime is on the decline in the capital, and there's no need for the military to be involved.
You know, it doesn't make sense. The numbers on the ground in the district don't support 1,000 people from other states coming to Washington, D.C.
By law, Trump can only use the National Guard for 30 days without congressional approval. But the president has already said he wants an extension to his emergency order. Judy Trin, CTV News, Washington, D.C.
NATO defense chiefs held a virtual meeting today discussing progress toward peace in Ukraine. The officials were expected to discuss a plan for safety guarantees for Ukraine following recent meetings between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, as well as Volodymyr Zelensky. No concrete path to peace came out of those separate meetings, though. Ukrainian officials want Western-backed military assurances against Russian invasions in the coming years, while Russian authorities say they won't accept NATO troops in Ukraine. Israeli military leaders are calling up 60,000 reservists preparing for an expanded operation in Gaza City. It's one of the country's largest mobilizations, with the new operation expected to begin within days. Human rights groups are warning about a worsening crisis in Gaza, with hundreds of thousands of Palestinians expected to get evacuation orders. Israeli leaders claim Hamas militants are hiding in tunnel networks in Gaza City in the midst of ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas. Meanwhile, Israel gave final approval to a controversial West Bank settlement project, which would essentially cut the territory in two. And rights groups have said that decision threatens the viability of a Palestinian state in the future. 5 Canadian military members have been suspended after video surfaced showing them with other members who gave Nazi salutes. According to a statement from a senior military official, they were notified of a video containing hateful conduct involving members of the Canadian Army, reportedly recorded in 2023. The members involved could face further disciplinary action, including possible dismissal.
Lots of summer fun to be had. Thank you so much, Wendy, for this photo of your granddaughter out enjoying the paddleboard. She looks like a pro. Temperatures are headed up Thursday into Friday and lots of sunshine to wrap up the week. A major cool down coming in as we head into Monday.
Officials in the Kawartha Lakes area say one of the wildfires threatening that community is now out. The Kirkfield area fire has been extinguished 9 days after it ignited. Meanwhile, the Burnt River area fire is still classified as under control, with no further spread expected. A burn ban remains in effect for the city of Kawartha Lakes. Elsewhere, a major fire in Newfoundland remains out of control, covering about 110 square kilometers. Authorities in Newfoundland say about 6,300 people have had to evacuate their homes because of wildfires this season. After a comfortable by-election win this week, Pierre Poilievre can now turn his attention back to Parliament and gearing up for another run at the Prime Minister's office when the time comes. In order to do so, though, he will have to go through a leadership review in the new year. With more on the path ahead for the Conservative leader, here's Evan Kenny.
Thank you very much. Pierre Poilievre is heading back to the House of Commons. The Conservative leader ran away with the federal by-election in Battle River Crowfoot, earning more than 80% of the vote.
No, I'm not surprised at all. He did the work. He was to every rural area in
his riding.
I'm very disappointed and shocked at that.
I felt that he would probably win, but I didn't think he would have a commanding win.
That's who we wanted to begin with, right?
While he's the man more than 40,000 people in Alberta wanted as their MP, he'll have to show Conservatives across the country Canadians want him as the next Prime Minister.
The next step is going to be the campaigning he does between now and when Parliament resumes and how he conducts himself.
He received fewer votes than Damian Carrick, who won the riding in the spring election, then stepped down so Poilievre could run. The Conservative leader will face an automatic leadership review at the party's convention in January.
That's probably enough to at least avoid adding questions to his suitability for the leadership.
Cheers! Independent candidate Bonnie Critchley is toasting to her efforts. She finished second, earning 10% of the vote.
My entire purpose, when I started to right now, has been to tell Monsieur Poilievre that he is not allowed to just walk in and use us as a tool and then disappear back to Ottawa.
Critchley wants to see Poilievre back in Battle River Crowfoot when he's not campaigning and bringing the riding's concerns to Ottawa. Evan Kenny, CTV News.
A near-death dining experience was captured on camera by two social media influencers recording their meal. A car crashed through the front of this Houston restaurant, sending two food bloggers flying. Police say the driver thought her vehicle was in park, took her foot off the brake, and then barreled into the building. The diners walked away from the crash with just minor cuts and bruises.
I thought we were going to die. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is our last moment.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Get ready to rock the runway. We want to hook you up with tickets to see Marshmello and Baby No Money.
September 13th at Rock the Runway. Tickets are on sale now, or listen to 97.5 Virgin Radio this week for your chance to win.
Welcome back. Southwestern Ontario researchers are building human-like robots competing in an industry that's soon expected to be worth billions of dollars. Spencer Turcotte has more on the team trying to put Canada at the forefront.
A quick stretch of the fingers.
The range of motion is incredible.
And these robots are ready to work.
A humanoid robot is a robot that matches the human form.
At Mercy Robotics in Cambridge, Tariq Rahim and his team have developed human-like robots that can do human tasks.
Everything is Mercy designed, and we're really proud of it.
Mercy says their robots are already addressing critical Canadian challenges like gathering data for remote First Nations water plants, providing support in aging care facilities, and filling essential roles in precarious industries.
These robots are going to tackle the repetitive, monotonous jobs. And most importantly, they're going to handle the backbreaking labor that humans should really not be doing.
Rahim says people shouldn't worry about the humanoids taking human jobs. They may replace some roles, but he says with any emerging technology, new job opportunities arise. That's backed by global humanoid robot market projections, which show it growing from $2.92 billion this year to $15.26 billion by 2030.
And those are the most conservative estimates, so I wouldn't fear too much about a dystopian future with no employment opportunities.
The robot moves around on wheels with the help of a joystick.
The reason we do wheel designs is because they're inherently stable. You cannot knock this guy over.
In the manufacturing sector, Canada ranked 12th in robot installations behind countries like the U.S. and Mexico. Yet Mercy says they have the tech to catapult Canada to the top of the world rankings, in an industry they believe will have the same impact as the automotive revolution. But above the impressive technology, they have the passion to match it.
In a way, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. So I imagine that's what having children feels like.
Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Cambridge.
And finally tonight, a former household staple still holding on. Phone books are still produced across the country, but they're far from their ubiquitous peak just a couple decades ago. With more, here's Hallie Mandrick.
SaskTel's obligation to the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission requiring them to print phone books is no more. But that doesn't mean the Saskatchewan phone book is going anywhere anytime soon.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to stop or change the way that we distribute phone books. It just provides SaskTel with the flexibility to evolve the way that we distribute phone books in the future.
According to Jacobs, nearly 12,000 businesses across the province advertise in the phone book, and the company is still seeing a demand from some folks who simply prefer a physical phone book as opposed to the digital option.
From a small business perspective, it's a really great way to reach out to potential customers or those who might be in your community who may not have heard of your service. It's also a good tool for anyone who might not be as comfortable with technology as younger generations are.
CTV asked some Saskatoon residents about the last time they used a phone book.
I don't honestly remember. It's been like 3+ years at least.
It was many years ago.
Probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
I don't know what that is. As SaskTel has no plans to cease production anytime soon, residents also shared their thoughts on the future of the phone book.
The only thing that I wish they would have the cell phone numbers in the phone book, and they don't.
Do you think they should keep printing them in Saskatchewan?
Yes, I do, because people do use them.
Yeah, some people still use them.
No, to be honest.
I would like to have a phone book.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, it used to be you could look up somebody in there, but I guess nowadays people don't want their name in the phone book anyway, so.
While Saskatchewan phone books won't be going away, anyone who does not wish to receive one can opt out online on the Direct West website. And they are 100% recyclable, so any unwanted books can be tossed in the blue bin. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.